to the chairman. I wonder, you had said that you'd had some success, you think, in interrupting the financial networks that supported al-Qaeda, and I wonder if you could describe that a little bit to the extent that you can in a public hearing, the effect that Osama bin Laden's death might have on that financing, if any, and then can you give us a sense, either of you, of how overlapping the networks are for al-Qaeda or al-Qaeda on the Arabian Peninsula, Hamas, or any other terrorist organizations? Just an impression of whether you're seeing this all, some geographic relationship here.
The success that we've had with respect to al-Qaeda core, so the al-Qaeda leadership in Pakistan, has been something that has developed over a number of years and is the result of both taking targeted actions against the facilitators who were involved in moving money for al-Qaeda, as well as very dedicated engagements with counterparts in the Gulf. We have working with governments in the Gulf to identify the networks that are where the money is raised and money is moved into Pakistan, and it has really put a fair amount of pressure, financial pressure, on al-Qaeda. Frankly, some of the other actions that the government, some of the other things that we've been doing in Afghanistan and elsewhere has also put pressure on al-Qaeda core. The death of bin Laden is obviously a tremendously important step. I think it takes away a person who was at a minimum a symbol that was helpful in raising money. But I think our assessment is that it's by no means the end of the road in terms of going after the financing. I will just make one observation on that, and obviously all credit for that action goes to other components of the government. The Treasury Department did not play a role, but the reports are that what led us to bin Laden was a facilitator, a information facilitator. What we do in large part is go after financial facilitators and use that leverage as a way to go after the senior leadership and the organizations themselves. And I think it does point up, to some extent, the value of the approach that we pursue, which is to sort of much like a law enforcement agency builds its case by going after the low-level people and building its way up. We go after the networks and the facilitators in the networks, and that has been quite effective in disrupting the financing for these organizations. The question about overlapping networks, there are overlapping networks. Success with respect to al-Qaeda core does to some extent yield some success with the other organizations, but it is also the case that over the last several years we have seen this franchising of the al-Qaeda network. So you have al-Qaeda in the Arabian Peninsula, you have al-Qaeda in Islamic Maghreb, you have Shabab in Somalia. They also have independent sources of financing, and our efforts to disrupt al-Qaeda core have some impact, but clearly not not complete impact on those other entities. So we need to for each one of those and other terrorist groups, we need to apply the same theory but different tool, but different specific application.
Senator Hagan.
Thank you.